In my never-ending quest to find unique RGB lighting components, a company called Color and Light just released a new product called the Fluora Mini. In today's video, I'll be going over the genius engineering that went into the design and how they might be onto something that could revolutionize the plug-and-play industry. Opening things up, you first have the welcome information with some QR codes for setup instructions and app download. Underneath, you have 3 green stems that are made from a hard plastic material. And the bottom of each of these has a headphone jack type looking connector, which I've never seen before on any type of LED product, so it's already piquing my interest. Next, you have a 12 volt 3 amp power supply. And moving further down, you have 9 of these green colored plastic, slightly cloudy leaves. These are all the same shape and size and have the same type of headphone jack style connector that was on the stems, but just a little bit smaller. Finally, you have the base that has 3 holes for the stems to get plugged into, as well as a black button that can be used to cycle through different animations. And on the bottom is the main cord, which is where the power supply would get attached. Now, the easiest way to get everything set up is to first get the stems into the base, and each slot is at a different depth to create varying stem heights. Once those are plugged in, you can then attach the 9 leaves, and this is about as easy as it gets. And what's incredibly unique about this is that it allows for data, power, and ground to pass through while still being able to rotate the leaves 360 degrees to get that perfect look. So anytime I see something new, I can't help but think big picture. This design with this type of plug-and-play leaf attachment is absolutely brilliant. And if I were in charge of product development at Color and Light, I would first come up with milky white and black LED acrylic leaves so people could choose the color that best fits their environment. I would also try to offer multiple different leaf shapes and sizes to further customize the experience, all which would have the same type of attachment so you can mix and match anything together. And finally, I would love for them to come up with a way that this could be scaled for much larger installs in the consumer space. Now, they've already proven that this concept does work, and they've done some incredible commercial installs, such as this massive 18-foot tree in Vegas, plus a few other larger projects they've done across the world. Now, as far as controlling the lamp, download and install the Fluora app. I'll go over some of the basics, starting with Auto, which is going to cycle through different animations and colors. The next tab over is Scene, which is probably where you're going to be spending most of your time. I'll turn the brightness down a little bit and then click on one of my favorite animations called Leaf Swirl. You can play around with the color and saturation at the top, but on the different animations you will be presented with vertical slider options. And if you're familiar with WLED, think of these as the horizontal bars that you see on different effects that control aspects of the movement. Another one of my favorite effects is Twinkle. This creates a firefly type animation that also has a lot of different customizable options with the sliders. But perhaps my favorite effect is Sweep. It creates this mesmerizing movement of color going up the leaves that's so much more dynamic than what a traditional LED strip can deliver, since this has a completely different form factor. Moving on to Sound React, and this can be found in the Manual tab, and then click on Control Panel. Then you can play around with any of the 4 effects with music notes next to them. This is again pretty unique because they have different stems and leaves programmed to react to different frequencies of the music, as well as many other adjustments you can make to achieve the look you're going for. I'll play a few examples from here so you can see them in action.
Coming because the bright lights fade. Moments are fleeting, but memories stay. In my dreams is where I see your face, but your love no longer fills that space. Every moment.
So another thing that makes this so versatile is that it works flawlessly with power packs that are able to deliver 12 volts. I'll leave links to what I'm using in the description, but being able to bring this literally anywhere you go while not having to plug it into a wall is awesome. And remember, even if you're in the middle of nowhere without any Wi-Fi, you can still cycle through the animations using the button found in the flower pot. Now, I absolutely love the way it looks as part of my gaming setup, but guys, if you're trying to get your wife on board with your RGB obsession, this might finally be what you're looking for, because it looks great no matter where you put it. I'm for sure going to be getting a couple more to put on either side of our nightstands, which my wife is on board with. And we already love the relaxing vibe we get when sitting in our 3-season porch at night, listening to all the crickets and frogs singing in the background. So I did want to circle back to the design because the headphone jack connection process is absolutely perfect for this product, and I feel it could become extremely popular if more companies caught on. I imagine almost having a Lego type ecosystem where different LED pieces could be plugged in, rotated 360 degrees, swapped out, torn down, rebuilt, and with the headphone jack type system, it could all be done in seconds. I really do think that this Fluora design could be the beginning of an absolutely huge market of LED products created to look like plants, because after all, who wouldn't want to turn their room into their own personal Pandora? Another thing I wanted to highlight is just how smooth the animations are. Their app is able to send data to each LED at a rate of 60 frames per second, which is why the effects look so smooth like you're seeing here. Let's now talk about cost. The Fluora Mini is around $250 and they offer a bigger model for $500. And in preparation for comments saying that this is way overpriced, I went on Amazon and ordered the only product I could find that's currently trying to knock off Fluora's design, so let's see what you get with the lower cost option. Now before moving on, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Aura. So this is me signing up for their free 14-day trial, and during the setup process, one of the many things they do is scan the internet for data brokers that have your personal information. These data brokers then make a fortune selling your information to spammers, scammers, and other entities that want to know more about you. Now, Aura was able to find 30 such instances of my personal information being in the hands of these companies. Then, with one click, Aura sends out a notice to have my information removed from their systems, which they are legally required to do when asked. Their all-in-one platform offers antivirus protection, credit monitoring, credit lock, financial transaction alerts, secure VPN, identity protection, parental controls, 24/7 US-based customer service, and much, much more. I'll leave a link in the description for you to start your own free 14-day trial, so please make sure to check them out. Thank you all so much, and now back to the video. After waiting 2 weeks for it to arrive, I received a package that looked as if it had a story to tell. I opened things up and saw what looked to be hundreds of separate pieces and a mess of wires. I first spent a good amount of time trying to put one of the stems together by cramming the extra wires in the tube, and I was able to finally get it connected. Next, you have to build out each of the little stems that connects to the leaves. These little green pieces somewhat snap together around the wires that lead to the LEDs. Then for the leaves, they snap together, but you have to get the LED stuck to one of the sides first. This has to then be inserted into the part that you just put together, which was easier said than done because it kept falling apart. They also include a roll of small green tape that instructions say need to be wrapped around the leaf to make sure it stays together. After about 20 minutes, I had one leaf assembled. At this point, I realized that there was no base or flower pot to put things in, and even if I did have 2 free days to get this assembled, I'm pretty sure the light breeze of someone walking past would cause it to fall apart. Now I did this more for fun, but it proves the point of the stark differences between a well thought out and engineered plan with the end user in mind versus a cheap alternative that cuts every corner possible to reduce costs. And the age-old saying comes to mind, you get what you pay for, and in this case, that certainly seems to be true. So overall, besides being one of the coolest products I've ever tried, it really does reinforce the fact that we are just scratching the surface on all the different ways unique lighting can be brought into your home. I'll leave you with a few more examples of my favorite pictures and videos, but as always, thanks for watching and I hope you have a blessed day.
Whispering goodnight, city lights so bright, feel the chill